Welcome, everyone. And everything that I deliver in the next minutes will be related to setting intention. And my first step into that is setting the intention of the message that I want to convey to each one here. We are finding ourselves in a very different environment than what we had even a month ago, much less a year ago. The rules are bizarre and they're dropping away, and the expectations that we may feel are on us are also there for dissolving. We have a challenge in front of us with that change. We can resist it, and this isn't right. The world's going to hell. It's chaos in our government. That's one choice, if you see it that way. The other choice is that opens up a whole new world of possibilities. If rather than resistance, the alternate path is chosen to release yourself of any expectations to create what is going to benefit you most right now. What I'd like to share with you is some tools that you can take with you, and just little by little, with the self-awareness and the practice in your everyday opportunity, because it just keeps coming around, navigate the waters in a way that you can find joy. I'll pose the question also to set the stage of what if the purpose of our life at this time is to find joy no matter what, that it's a creation inside ourselves that is not determined by someone else's words. It's not determined by any outside circumstance. It doesn't matter the boss, the weather, the drivers, anything that comes at you, you have a choice. So here's some thoughts on recognizing what we can do. As living, breathing individuals, we are between our birth and our death, which is breath. As long as we have breath, we have the birthright to make our own choices, and if we're going to assign meaning to anything, it's up to us. It's one of the rights that I see as very unrecognized, the freedom of choice in how we're viewing what comes at us. It's an inside job. No one else can do it for us. We can go to channelers, healers, psychics. We can go to workshops and try all different modalities. We can add meditation in our life, and all of those are stepping stones to understand ourselves better. But in the end, what you do with that is entirely up to you. If there's resistance that's coming up when you know that it's something that might benefit you, there's your clue of, wait a minute, I just got this impulse, call it a seed drop, and you're arguing with it. An example for me might be waking up and I should do a yoga class today. What I started to recognize was I might go into, well, maybe not today. I'm not sure I feel like it. Maybe tomorrow would be better. But in the end, it started to feel like I was arguing with spirit. If that drop came in right when I hit the ground in the morning, that wasn't my logical mind talking to me. So recognizing when we've got a calm quietness, and we can do that through meditation, we can get ourselves into a point where we're going through our days settled, and out of the blue, that something arrives. Pay attention. Opening up the awareness. That's a huge start in developing relationship with spirit. It's the birthright of the thought process. It's ours and ours alone. It is also an avenue that's available to anyone of any age, of any income, any education. There is no limit on this opening, this opportunity in front of every single person. There is no discrimination. It's all what you're doing with yourself, for yourself, to yourself in some cases. The title is the talk of the title of the talk is Spirit Unleashed. So how do we recognize when spirit is present? Having the clarity of the thought that might drop in is one possibility. Another is starting to recognize your own choice of words. In the old paradigm, which I'm suggesting we purposely choose to step out of. This is not for me. So in the old paradigm, we may have truisms we've heard all our life. It might be something like, life is tough and then you die. So if you hear that, see that, anything along that line that is, well, that's great. Is that all I have to look forward to? That's your opportunity right then and there. How would I reword that? Is there anyone in the room not familiar with the shift term? Going from the old paradigm to a new way of living. Everything is shifting around us. So we have the old paradigm, life is tough, then you die. A rewrite in practicing what's next could be shift happens, right? And it has a whole different meaning, a whole different connotation, and a different effect on your body. It's like, oh yeah, shift happens, and find the humor in that. The thoughts that present themselves one by one. Is this old thinking coming to mind? Am I trying to be logical? Am I trying to weigh this out? How do I make this decision? And we get ourselves stuck. If we can take that opportunity, that moment, to step back and I'm not thinking about it anymore. I'm going to go do something fun. I'm going to do something that gets my mind off of it. I'm going to watch a funny movie. I'm going to do some physical exercise that brings me encouragement that I enjoy. So finding that way of stepping back. And for everyone, it's going to be a little different. Having that as a go-to of I'm stuck, I'm leaving it on my desk for today. I'll come back tomorrow. And when you sit down the next day, how many times does it happen where the solution is right there? You just didn't see it when you were in this narrow view. So that's one of my suggestions on the tools. How many of us know what our gifts are? If I ask around the room and I said, what are you trying to fix in yourself? Can you name your flaw so that you can work on it? Most of you could have a whole handful of things that would come up. I procrastinate. I talk bad about myself. I don't trust my decisions. I this and I that. I'm not providing like I should. Whatever it is, we know our flaws. We've taken them on as our challenge. We're going to fight them down, and this isn't working. I'm going to try another way, and somebody else sees our flaws, and then it makes it even worse. If we changed that in a way I call flipping the script. Your script is, I have these flaws, I'm working hard, I'm just stuck. You're the author of your story. So flipping the script, you're the author. I don't want that story to continue. Let's start fresh. So what that might look like is, what are my gifts? It may not come real quick. It may take going back a long way. In some cases, you're finding that one key frustration, and out of that, finding, oh, there is a gem buried in there that I can learn from. For me, as a child, I was the third of four. So I was a middle child, and I was also the oldest child between the two sets of kids. Gap in between. Much of what I remember was, who do you think you are to interject maybe in a family fight, or well, what about? And I'm trying to be helpful and calm everybody down. So who do you think you are to say what you have to say? That stuck with me for a long time. When I came to my Lutheran church confirmation, so this is age 13, we needed to give a speech. We had our topics, we did our practice. It was standing in front of the whole congregation of what I viewed as all these old people, and none of them are happy. And at this place on the stage that was, what am I doing here? And my hands are shaking, and I can recreate that pretty easily. That was related back to, who do you think you are, and why do you have anything to say? And can you even get the words out? Fast forward, in my first marriage, a common phrase that I was told was, who would want to hear your voice anyway? Here I am today, taking on, I know I've always had something to say. And I'll call myself out on it. I paid to be in this spot, to have something to say, to break through that barrier that I felt was on me all along. I will never have a first time doing a public talk in this type of setting again. The door's open. It's a way of not trying to swim upstream against something. It's jumping in the water. Here goes the current. Did I not have a moment in the last couple of weeks where I was, holy shit, what did I sign up for? Absolutely I did. But I did this flipped my script on myself day after day. Usually it was the middle of the night when I went, oh, it's Saturday. Oh, that's only one more week to go. Am I ready? No, that's okay. It's going to be fine. Just do it. You're signed up. There's no backing out now. And as the week went by, instead of the WTF, I never even got it through my thoughts. It was, oh, Saturday. It's okay. We got this. It's going to be great. And to create looking forward to it rather than letting it take me under. One of the introduction points was that I was making the choices in my life to be an icebreaker, to step into, I have to do it for myself first before I can even suggest it to someone else. I have to live it, to teach it, to learn it, and become that. So flipping the script is huge. Ooh, that's only 17 minutes. What are your gifts? That's one of your assignments. Another phrase that we may hear ourselves saying is, how can I heal? What that seems like good intentions. You recognize something that's not quite right. I need to heal it. But the implication is that something's wrong. You wouldn't have to heal it if it wasn't wrong. Can it be made better? Sure. Flipping that script, what I came up with was, how do I get my shine on? Instead of healing, maybe I need a little dusting off. Maybe there's something that I'm not gaining the maximum benefit from that I could be. So how do I get my shine on? And each one of you will have that opportunity, probably before the day's over, of you finding yourself with a phrase in your head that might be something you've told yourself for months, years, a lifetime. And wait a minute, if I were listening to that phrase, how would I flip the script? How would I rewrite it so that it's in that positive, jump in the stream, let's go with it direction, rather than fighting the current, working against something? Along the lines of identifying your strengths, back to what the gift was, in talking this through with a coach of sorts, but also on the spiritual level. Well, what is it that you do? What do you want to provide to people? And much of that input was from my work world. Well, I'm a problem solver. I'm a project manager. I take all this information and I get things done. I'm a solutionary. But everything I said around what I'm looking at as a positive attribute or something I can contribute, the reply was, yes, but that refers to there being a problem in the first place. If you're a solutionary, what are you solving? You're solving a problem. Well, I have to identify a problem, so there's problems all around me, or I wouldn't have a job. And it finally came down to, after some filtering and sorting and throwing these different terms out there to see how it sticks, instead of being a problem solver or a solutionary, I don't have to look for obstacles that might come up. I can call myself a luminary. I can shed light on the situation. So flipping the script, I see as shedding light on an opportunity to make a different choice. Any questions? Does anyone have an example of what your tendency might be in a phrase? Something that you, oh yeah, I got me written all over that. Anything? Living in the questions. How do I flip my script? How do I reconsider that? How do I step back? Here are the questions that I've come up with as starting points of how to know yourself. What brings me joy? How do I make my choices in the day if I don't know what brings me joy, but yet you set an intention, I want joy in my day, and you go, what would that be? That's self-exploration with a benefit. If you are at any point of getting stuck in that frustration of trying to, I'm depressed, I'm anxious, I'm stalled. Replace the question. What brings me joy? How can I find joy before I go to sleep tonight? It could be something super simple. It could be, I'm going to treat myself to a mocha today. I'm going to take a 10-minute walk on my lunch break. You're not working against yourself. It's almost giving yourself a gift. What do I love? Along the lines of what brings me joy. Who do I love to be? When do I love myself? When I'm being myself. What could I be? If I find what brings me joy, then I'm sharing joy. That might be what I love to be. I love to be joyful because I recognize that ripple effect. For some people, the terms might be, how do I get my game on? It might be, how do I get my shine on? It's being your own coach, your own cheerleader. It's all reframing, all flipping the script. It's not accepting the patterning, the words that we're using. In flipping the script, repatterning our phrasing, it's my contention that words carry power and every word matters, whether it's to yourself or audibly. So choose wisely. So if you imagine your words that were just expressed randomly at a situation, you emboss those words on a boomerang and I want to get rid of that word. I was angry. I want to get over it, but I'm putting it out there. If those were negative words, what do boomerangs do? They're coming back at you. And if you're on a tangent of this sucks and I don't want to do this anymore and they did this and that happened and it's out of my control, you're putting all the words out. You don't know when those boomerangs are coming back at you. It might be all at once. It might be one by one. And then you're wondering, why is the world hating me? Why is this stuff all happening? Well, you created it. So before it's even out there, there's one theory that I've heard through recordings of Esther Hicks, which to me, I find just little pieces of boosts every day that I can listen to while I'm driving. One of the things that has come up quite a bit is the idea that it takes 17 seconds for a thought you've created to take hold. So if you can catch yourself in less than 17 seconds and go, no, I don't think I wanted it quite that way. I'm going to rewrite that. That's where you start breaking patterns. And step by step, that realization, and you start catching it sooner. And then all of a sudden you might hear phrasing or words come out that, where'd that come from? I've never said that word before. Example might be, this was actually from my mom in the last couple of days that she was alive and I was with her 24 hours, her phrasing started coming out with, well, that would be splendid if someone suggested they'd stop back in a little while to see how she was doing. She was talking like an English noble person. Well, yes, indeed. Or that is a dilemma. Who are you, woman? But her filters were gone. She was expressing her feelings. She never felt like she was an educated person. And that's a little bit of a tangent, but that's the example that came to mind of when you start catching yourself in those words that you've used for years, and something shows up, you might do a double take of, what did I just say? Or the person with you might do the same thing of, are you different than who went to bed in this house? People may be surprised. What's different about you? Taking ownership. Taking ownership with your words, taking ownership with your script, choosing when to flip it. We're coming out of a period of duality, a period of polarization. Everything is this side or this side. There's no in between is what's presented to us. With that comes a ton of judgments. In order for me to feel right, someone may need to make the other person wrong, simply to be right, or to take a stand, or I have to have an opinion. What if we don't have to operate at that point anymore? What if instead of red and blue, we have red, white, and blue? Why are we fixing things that aren't working rather than... So the new paradigm, the new possibilities of being creators in your creatorship, owning your thoughts. What is there that no one else is seeing yet? There's a better way there somewhere. If you start with the old, all you're doing is fixing something that's not working, or putting a Band-Aid on it, or propping it up, and maybe this will be better for a few more years. But what if it's something totally out of, like, holy cow, how come no one ever came up with this before? There's so many, every little type of business or social section has opportunities like that. One that is close to me because it's related to the physical well-being of someone is the system currently in place for food subsidies, the food stamp program, supporting those that are in a stage of hunger. Is the effort there worthy? Absolutely. But how come no one is asking, why can you buy soda on food stamps, but you can't buy something that's a health drink? In this era, it doesn't make sense. So those are great things to ponder on versus who said what or did what or whatever. Another choice. With the information technology all coming at us at a pace unprecedented, we find ourselves with a choice there too of what to be filtered, what is beneficial, what it may not be, and finding an acceptance of yourself, where you can use your heart to discern a situation of maybe you're not watching, maybe you're just listening to just hear the words. How does it resonate in yourself? Does that make sense? Is there something off about it? There is no requirement to agree or disagree. You can hear it, process it a little, reasonableness, resonance. If you don't want to hear it, I don't need that. If this information is creating anything like a fear or a boiling up, absolutely turn it off, because the delivering person, if it's typical media, it's being sensationalized for a reason, to get a reaction, to get an emotion. So as a conscious consumer, using your heart to know what to do with it for yourself. Doesn't matter what anybody else's opinion is on that, or even if you share it. You may never even mention, I just couldn't take it, I had to turn it up. Our freedom is choosing our reality. We're choosing what is for ourselves. It could be a diagnosis of you'll never walk again. If I were told that, I would say, well, thank you for your opinion, and that may not be my reality. And anyone that overcomes a diagnosis like that, or anyone that just accepts, here's what we're going to do for you. It's just filled with choices. There's the professional that's paid to do what they do. They are respected for their role, but it doesn't mean it's a blanket acceptance. Freedom to choose, choosing our reality. There was an example of something for acceptance for myself that was related to body weight. Having put on 30 pounds in 2 years' time, above where I wanted to be, I replaced my clothes. It was, I feel good. This is comfortable. Then an injury and a surgery and lethargy, and okay, here I am. And I'm trying this, and I'm trying multiple things and different input, and nothing was working. So I'm okay, I've got to replace my clothes. I go to thrift shop anyway. I'll just get clothes that fit, that feel good on, that we'll just go for a whole new wardrobe. And yeah, those nice things are there for someday later. I'm not going to get rid of the skinny clothes. Within about a month of replacing the clothes, and okay, this is it. It's not going to interfere with my happiness. It isn't at an unhealthy point. Could it be different? Absolutely. Maybe it will be someday. The weight started dropping a little bit and a little bit. And then I looked back at the closet, and it's a small house. So I have my winter clothes and my summer clothes, and some go into boxes, and we do a twice-a-year flip. So I'm looking at the next season's clothes, and well, I'm not going to take them out of the box because they don't fit them anymore. I didn't think I wanted to get rid of them. But as soon as I had that awareness of, even if I got down to that weight again, where those clothes fit, they're not me anymore. I don't even care if I wear them anymore, and I'm sure somebody else could use them right now if I donate them. When that happened, you know what? Whatever weight I'm at, I'm going to find what feels good on and brings me joy. And the weight started dropping again. So it was a situation like I described earlier. You can just keep pushing against it, and this isn't right, something's got to change, not acceptable. Once I made it acceptable, not permanent, because everything's always in flux, I turned downstream. I wasn't fighting it anymore.
So what do you say to those people who like challenges?
Challenges in order to, tell me more, in order to feel
accomplished. You know, once you start swimming downstream, right? And there's some people that want to persevere and stick with it, and
yep,
they get tested over and over.
There's one word in there that's my clue. They. You can only speak for yourself and live from that example, and maybe gently share, this worked for me. But if it's a they, you got nothing to say. And if it means some separation, maybe that needs to be a temporary, it's too much in your face right then. And if you're not ready to have that happen without taking it on or wanting to fix it, then a little separation might just take a little time to open up new possibilities for them as well. And it's not always that easy, but the distinction between what you have control of and another individual. Does that answer your question?
Pardon my interruption.
No, not at all. I'm glad you jumped in there. So who's ready to fast track, to take that quantum jump, to all right, we're going downstream here. So fast tracking to me would look like dismissing habits as you become aware of them and putting in their place a lot of questions to get to know yourself. Fast tracking would be drop the rules that are running in your head. I guess it's an old one, but you don't wear white shoes before Memorial Day or white clothes. No rules. There's no rules from parents, especially. No, you should or you shouldn't, who you are, what you should have done, what you didn't do, and you could have, and whatever that echo is. No rules. This is my choice. I will hear and allow the thoughts that I will benefit from. You have no GPS. You have no roadmap. You have no speedometer. If you need to slow down, you slow down. If you're catching the current and you're hitting the rapids, ride with it. Okay, this is going to be fun. Remove the rear view mirrors. That's part of anything back there. Remove the door. Can you do this? I've got this. I have all the tools I need in myself. I choose my path. Instead of a GPS, one of your other tools is your IGS, your internal guidance system. That's where you are developing your intuitive self. You're listening in a different way. So when those seed drops arrive, thank you, Spirit, I gotcha. Maybe it shows up on a billboard or a commercial or a random grocery store, and your eyes just go, okay, pay attention. And little by little, your awareness develops to the point of you feel trusting. Of course you can do it. The only one that would say you can't is yourself. And you can always go back to those questions. What brings me joy? What do I love to be? How do I get my shine on? That's where Spirit finds us. That's where Spirit can stay with us. That's where Spirit can walk with us, sleep with us. From the moment our feet hit the floor, when our minds are clear, and setting that intention for the day ahead. The word choices. Some examples of that might be, where'd they go? Setting the intentions of the day could be what I mentioned earlier. I choose to find joy in this day. Dear Spirit, I'm open to receive your signals. Dear Spirit, show me how to draw closer to you throughout this day. Dear Spirit, please bring to my awareness the most important thing in my day. And maybe the phone rings. Asking Spirit's assistance, because we're moving out of this tangible, material, evidenced world. And by your say-so, it's everything is possible. Your words matter, your thoughts matter, you're the creator, you're the writer. If yesterday was not the life that you wanted, then leave it yesterday, because today the circumstance might feel the same, but if you're describing it in a different light, pun on words there, if the light is with you when you're looking at that circumstance, your description could be entirely different. It's, yeah, that happened, but I learned so much from it. And now I know what something I didn't before. That's a tool I can use. It's one of the bumps in the road might be there just to slow you down long enough to have an opportunity that you would have missed otherwise. That can be turned into a very fun day of, oh yeah, if that, then that, and wow. So looking for a home or an apartment, and you think you got the right one narrowed down, and you got your offer in, and everything's falling into place, and then something happens, and who knows, the seller withdraws. And you might be devastated at first, but that's where your choice is at first. That's your gut response. Well, okay, that felt really sucky, and now what? Only to find out a month later something even more magical, more of your dreams showed up. And if that first deal had not fallen apart, you would have never known the opportunity, the potential in front of you. So looking at everything as a possibility. Okay, what spirit got in front of me? Because then the potential is limitless. You're not saying, this is what I want, and I will not accept anything less than that. So come on, if I'm supposed to be working on my laws of attraction, and that's what I want, you've just put the brakes on spirit. You're not in communication anymore. You're not allowing spirit to work the magic and the no such thing as an accident, right? So let's just leave it in spirit's hands for a little bit. And living in the anticipation of that result, you can already create how it's going to feel when that happens. You don't know the whys, the hows, but you know it's coming. Any questions now? So we are down to the last couple minutes, and we don't want to keep the next group waiting. So I will finish up in a moment with just going into a really short, close your eyes, couple breaths, and some points along the I am categories to reinforce what we covered. I will ask if there's any key phrase that you already know is took resonance with you. I'll pass around some note paper. I'd love to hear back what the one thing was that hit home for you, and it will help me going forward. So we'll just start a notepad on each side, and then I'll put a spot by the water in the cups over there. Dropped them off on the way out. So sitting up in your chairs, maybe putting your feet both to the floor and hands on your lap, allowing your eyes to go shut, and taking a deep inhale in and relaxing, allowing the shoulders and arms to feel heavier. And second breath, and this time feeling the skin on your face relaxing and calming. Continuing to breathe at your own pace. I see words as food for my body, and words are food for my spirit. My words are like seeds of the finest quality. My choices are what matters for my intentions. I am the creator of the experience of my life. My focus is forward. I am thankful for my physical body that allows me to experience this life. I am the creator of how I choose to feel. I invite joy and abundance. I am grateful for this day. I am experiencing more joy every day. I am resilient. I am being healed in every way. My health and vitality of my physical form starts now. I draw forward my innate gifts and my strengths that I choose to develop into my power center. As I choose to live in wellness, all become well, and the circle expands. As I am, so it becomes, and so it is. When you are ready to open your eyes and move on with your day, I will extend my appreciation for every one of you being here, open to receive the words that I chose to deliver. Thank you.